Okay. First of all, I have some explaining to do. I have. I know I did the written down because I usually write down my picks ahead of time because of the silence that's going to happen. But do the events that happen during Monday Night Football and between the Bills and the Bengals and what happened during the first quarter. Uh, I have been a mess. I have been a complete mess. As sure as some people who have maybe either watched the game or heard what happened or have some kind of connection to what happened. Okay. Damar Hamlin has suffered from the same condition that my late wife had passed away from, even though she was in the hospital. And I was in the waiting room when it happened. Or actually, I was in the bathroom when it was happening, getting ready to go back to the waiting room when I was called to the nurse to go to that room. You know the room. The room where lives could be destroyed in a split second, where you see a doctor and a chaplain, and you know that you are screwed. You know that. You know that. And I'm still feeling a little bit of this, but I knew I had to get this done because the playoffs are coming very shortly. And I'm going to do today, it's going to be week 16 and 17, and then on a separate podcast, I'm going to do week 18. And then, of course, the special playoff predictions special. In the meantime, I will not be playing music at all. Not well, I know I usually don't play it for YouTube because they won't allow it, but I'm not going to play music for the other podcast carriers because of the fact for okay, let's just get to the chase now. As many of y'all may know, Damar Hamlin has suffered a cardiac arrest during the first quarter of the Buffalo Bills versus the Bengals on Monday night. And thankfully, the Bengals did not even want to go on after that. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I really feel bad to the kids had to witness that. And I believe, from what I heard from reports, that they had to try to resuscitate him on the field. Now, the kids who had to see that had to be traumatized. Literally traumatized. But what brought it home for me is that when I heard what happened, I literally started having flashbacks. That last week of August was the most painful experience of my entire existence on this planet Earth. And thank God that Damar Hamlin is okay. He is still at the hospital recovering, and he even asked the doctors who won the game. Obviously, he didn't know that the game was postponed or the game was delayed and didn't come back. And then finally the decision was made at the time of this broadcast or later on before the time of this broadcast that the game was postponed. I did not watch the game, okay? I don't have regular TV. I have my phone. I have YouTube. But for some reason, I did not want to watch any video. Now, even though I didn't see my wife get cardiac arrest in the hospital because I was in the bathroom, and then get ready to come back to the waiting room to find out what the heck's going on. It is my duty to tell the citizens why I haven't been podcasting. I have been receiving a lot of flashbacks ever since I heard about Damar Hamlin. And then people who also suffered cardiac arrest had came out and in support of Damar Hamlin. And it still kept giving me flashbacks to this very day because that was traumatizing for me, the way that I lost my wife. And I wanted to get back into podcasting because this is something what I love. I mean, I'm getting ready to speak at Podfest, I should say. Long shot, Podfest. I still can't even talk. And it still hurts to this very day. To this very day. So with that, I ain't going to play any music on today. I don't know if there's any other days. I know the playoffs, I'll definitely play music for the other carriers, podcast carriers. And YouTube would just be YouTube. But other than that, I'll wait for the music for the playoff special. And I also bring sad news to the citizens of Big D country. The day, like the either the day or the few days before, or whether the day before, I know the judge will tell me. But the judge of the court of Big D country and is soon to be Supreme Court Justice of Big D country, his grandfather had passed away. Obviously, this has been a real difficult time for him. And then on top of that, his favorite team, a player suffered a cardiac arrest. He did not need that at this time. And he had it pretty rough. My prayers are for not only for the judge's family. My continued prayers is also for Damar Hamlin. Continue to pull through from this. Continue to fight this. Reports that I've been hearing is very good. And it's just surreal. Now, I'm not going to do any Tom Brady jokes because of the fact that Tom Brady did give to Damar Hamlin Fund. There was a GoFundMe page. That's something that I can't even succeed in, so I stopped doing that. But Damar Hamlin family have put up a page for him, and to help with his recovery, and raised a lot of money. And Tom Brady also helped him. Now, love him or hate him, that is a class act. And also, Tom Brady had gave again, I think, to his toy drive, I believe. So, I'm not going to do any Tom Brady jokes this week. So, but the playoffs, watch out. But other than that, no jokes this week. He get a get out of jail free card. So, I know I'm going to talk about Kevin McCarthy and his role to Speaker of the House. It's been a difficult one. So usually the first week of January was supposed to start the new Congress. Okay. And yes, I was a little bit jealous, even though that Smith was going to win the Senate anyway. Senate was already in place. But there was just one little teeny tiny problem. The House. Because you see, without the Speaker of the House, without him giving the gavel, no new members can be sworn in. No new officers of that particular party could be sworn in without the Speaker of the House. It took half of a week, Monday till early morning this morning. I watched some of the proceedings after the fact that it took 15 ballots. 15 ballots. And then there was going to be a new minority leader in the Democratic Party that was in the running for Speaker of the House. He beat McCarthy not once, not 2 times, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but 6 times. 6 times. And did you know within the deal there is a way that if Kevin McCarthy is not performing the way that he should, that one person could say, all right, you're gone? What? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So it took almost a whole week. And even joked about it, it's like, well, this wasn't what I had in mind, or what we had in mind. But, yeah. But, yeah, I watched it yesterday. I was like, let me see what's going on. Because I was supposed to talk about this. And I did make jokes on game show production when I kept saying, because we kept hearing all the sound bite, the speaker has not been elected. So I made that into a joke. And now, well, I don't think I can use that joke in my speech because the speaker has been elected. Finally, after 15 ballots. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do the NFL pickup for Week 16 and Week 17, and then going on and just give you who won on each of the games because I have definitely messed up. Now I know I did had a couple of double downs, and probably a couple of ride or die. So here we go with Week 16. The Jaguars were facing the Jets on December 22nd. Now, this is part of me catching up, I should say. The final score, the Jaguars won 19-3. So I think that was a double down, and I still won. I'm not going to do any points for the double down, so whatever, I just did good for that particular week. So even if I did have losses, and because of the fact that I was traumatized again. So the Falcons versus the Ravens. The Ravens won by the score of 17-9. And obviously I won that game, but that was a double down. Lions versus Panthers. The Panthers won 37-23. And these were some of the Saturday's games. Seahawks versus Chiefs. Of course, my Chiefs won 24-10. And it was a double down. Of course, and surprisingly so, the Saints beat the Browns. And again, why the Browns are a football team in the first place. What is going on? My God, you're not even going to be a playoff with performance like that. Anyway, now this is last week's game. This is the Week 16 game, which is for like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So, don't freak out, because I'm trying to catch up. All right, the Bengals versus the stupid Pats, and this was a ride or die. I picked the Bengals, and they won 22-18. Giants versus Giants versus Vikings 24-27. I can't talk. The Vikings won. Bills versus the Bears. The Bills won by 35-13. Texans versus Titans 19-14. The team with the most stupidest name in the NFL or all of sports history. Thank God they lost to the 49ers 37-20. The Eagles Cowboys game. Cowboys won over the Eagles 40-34. My other team lost to the Steelers, which is the Raiders, but that was in the double down, so I still win either way, 13-10, only by a 3-point difference anyway. So go figure that. Packers versus Dolphins. Blah, 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 blah. Packers 26, Dolphins 20. Again, a short divide, 6-point score. Stupid Rams beat the Broncos. That was my ride or die. 51-14. That was my. I know that was a ride or die because I did not want the Rams to win at all. Yeah, that was a ride or die. Another ride or die situation. I think. Yeah, I did have some losses on this one. Tom Brady beat the Cardinals 16-19, and again a few point difference. What the heck? Oh God, I lost another ride or die. The stupid Chargers beat the Colts, and they wasn't even allowed to be in the building. They won by the score of 20-3. Okay, let's immediately jump to Week 17 of the NFL pickup. The one I had to uh, catch up on. Okay, so this was bringing us into 2023. This was Thursday the 29th. Brought us the Cowboys versus the Titans. The Cowboys won 27-15. No. Long shot. 27-13. Yeah, that was that double down. I remember that. Cardinals, Falcons. Falcons beat the Cardinals. Cardinals is not having a good 2 weeks. 20-19. The Falcons won by. Ugh. Come on. No. The Pats beat the Dolphins 23-21, even though it's a small score affair. Saints versus Eagles, 20-10. That was definitely a double down. Giants versus Colts, 38-10. Oh God, Tom Brady beat the Panthers by the score 30-24. That was definitely my ride or die. But my Chiefs are still continue to be on the roll, thank goodness, because the Chiefs beat the Broncos by the score 27-24. I think it was either a double down or a ride or die. I'm not even sure. The Lions versus the Bears by the score 41-10. And wow, yeah, this was. I think this was a game that I refused to call because it was the Commanders versus the Browns, and the Browns won 24-10. So hey, oh well. Anyway, Jaguars versus Texans. Texans was 31. And no, Jaguars for 31. Long shot. Jaguars for 31. And the Texans for 3. 49ers versus the Raiders. Again, these small points when you're trying to get into the playoffs. But 49ers beat the Raiders 37-34. But it was a double down, though. It was a double down. Wow, Seahawks just massacred the Jets by the score 23-6. What the heck? Whoa, I guess the Jets 2023 didn't start off so well. Packers and Vikings 47-17. Wow. Okay. Oh God, yeah, this was the one that I definitely refused to pick because it was the battle of the California. And wait a minute, we just had a California speaker from San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi. Now we have another California and Kevin McCarthy. California trying to take over everything. Come on! What the cat? Come on now! It just dawned on me right now. Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco, California. Kevin McCarthy, Bakersfield, California. What the heck, man? Oh, so unless you're from California, you can't be Speaker of the House? Really? You got to be from California? Oh my God. Driving me crazy. Anyway, the game that I refused to pick, of course, the stupid Chargers won 31-10. Served the Rams right anyway. Steelers versus Ravens by the score of 16-13. Okay, so what brings us to the game that was postponed, the Bills versus Bengals. And now we are officially caught up. I gotta say, this was the most difficult week. I mean, I thought that last year in January was bad when I keep losing my mojo because all the comedians were passing away, and I'm a comedian. And now turn around, now a story that hit so close to home because my wife had passed away because of cardiac arrest. And it's just not right. It's just not right. Can't win for nothing. All on the same week that the judge's grandfather had passed away. On the same week. Yeah. And also, condolences to the sheriff of Big D Country's family. One of their family members, I think, is either going through something or passed away. I forgot at the time of the podcast. I'm pretty sure he'll correct me on that. So if you're listening, Sheriff, please correct me on that. Either somebody passed away or somebody going through something. Please let me know and I could update it on a broadcast. I'll be glad to do it. For more information, go to escapetobigdcountry.com, escapetobigdcountry.com, and you can always listen to this broadcast whenever you want. Also, the hottest new company that is changing MLM for the better, Live Good, is going to be where it's at in 2023. Save up to 90% on all products across the board. Go to livegoodtour.com/BigDCountry. livegoodtour.com/BigDCountry. Oh, thank God, it's so easy to say. I'm going to say this from now on. I can say it in every podcast now. Thank you, Live Good. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I do have about 17 or 18 pre-enrollees in my Powerline. Join them in the Powerline, but do something that some of them haven't even done before. Become a member for either $9.99 or a yearly membership, $99.99. Like that's about $10, and then the yearly one is $100. I joined the yearly one. Follow my lead. I joined the yearly one, so I don't have to pay month to month. And then for to be a affiliate is $40. I joined at the $20, so I was grandfathered in. Just like everybody who joined at the $20 was grandfathered in, and we are affiliates of Look Good for Life. The hottest company in 2023, Live Good. And I hope to God that next week will be a whole lot better. I had a flashback all the time, and it's very sad. It's very sad. I'll see you later on the Big D Zone.